What's going on, YouTube? It's your man Azrael, the one signing on. Hey, listen, first off, it's been a minute, and as you can tell, I'm out here in the brick of, well, wonderful New York City in Columbus Circle on the campus of Fordham University. Enjoying a wintry smoke. But there's something I wanted to do this video about that really I've been thinking about all of this month. Before I do my video, I need to send out some shout outs. Definitely want to send out a shout out to my lovely wife. I'm going to send a shout out to my family, some close friends who've been through with me these last 60 days, going through some rough shit. Definitely shout out to the Wood Grain team. Shout out to my man, Queasy 100. And of course, the Soto Nation. Now, my issue with pro-blacks. Now, if you recall at the end of a video I did, I gave a definition, something to this effect, of being pro-black is not necessarily always agreeing with the Negro, but seeking truth, even to the detriment for the advancement of the people. And what I come to find out, honestly, is that I have a group of idiots that run around online claiming that they're, for the cause, for the people. And what ends up happening is that everything that they say they're against, they end up doing. Let me explain. Right now, I got a couple of trolls flooding my Facebook page. Yeah, I know who you are. I've had troll go and steal a picture, me and my son, run around on YouTube saying the most disgusting things imaginable. I've watched the same troll fuck with other YouTubers, all because they got sand in their vagina. And this is strange to me. But what it does for me is that it explains why more than ever there needs to be a significant change in the black community, a change in such a way that it would take on the black world by storm. When I say black world, of course, I mean black culture, black society, black people. Nevertheless, I can't help but to wonder why it is these people claim to be pro-black. I mean, really, if you take a look at it, you run around saying people are fuckboys and all kinds of weird shit because you don't like their opinion. You call them gay because they're unequivocal with their standard when they deal with people. The same way they treat men is the same way they treat women. They don't give a pussy pass, if you will. I notice even that they attack people's families, they attack their personal lives, they attack everything but one simple, and often innocuous point: the argument. And then they get mad when I call them charlatans and salesmen of salvation, these snake oil salesmen, these seminists, if for lack of a better term, people who use and abuse the struggle. And all for what? A couple of dollars? Some fame, some fortune? Look, I get it. You want to make a buck out of this, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think if you got a talent at something, you should be able to make some money out of it. Do what you love and get paid. That's the American way. Obviously, the name of the game is to get paid and get laid. That's how it works on a day-to-day basis. It's nothing different between men and women. Obviously, it's about stacking it and, throwing it down. But what I have an issue with is when you claim to care about a cause, but then you don't live what you spit out. I remember this Bible verse I read a while ago, and God was talking to one of his prophets, and he was saying, the people praise me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. And I really didn't understand, outside of a biblical context, what that could possibly mean. So now, at this very moment that I'm talking to you on this camera, out here in super cold weather with just the vest and the hoodie, I'm sitting out here and I think about this phrase, this line, this word of text, and it makes, suddenly I have a moment of clarity. But then I've been saying it all along. These particular people, these individuals, these charlatans, if you will, love to claim black pride, black power. And they will talk everything from black supremacy to outright foolish pseudoscience, and they will talk things that have nothing to do with the current issue in the black community. Let me explain. You will have these people talk about chematology, and you will have people talk about ancestor worship and all these things, and they sound great, don't get me wrong, they really do. But then when we look at the disparaging numbers, and we see that 8 out of every 10 of our children, one of mine included, are born bastards. When our women are accounting for half the new HIV cases, when our men can't find jobs and are not really talented or even skilled enough to produce job fields, to innovate, create, or at least maintain what they got in today's economy, where more of our men are spending their time, in a jail cell instead of with the families. When the quickest way to make it out the hood is to rap, play a sport, where most of our children grow up in poverty, and we turn around and we look at everybody else who is making their headway right here, right now. I gotta stop and I gotta ask this question. What does that all have to do with what's going on with the black people and shit you're talking about? And the short answer is, not a goddamn thing. I watch these so-called unquote pro-blacks tear down successful black man after black man. You know, you have people who will attack Bill Cosby and call him a coon. You have people who attack Benjamin Carson and call him a coon. You have people fucking with local names, local celebrities, because you don't like their opinion. You have people making business ventures and business moves, and you see these so-called unquote pro-blacks say that man's a fraud and he's a scam artist. Last I checked, Dr. Umar Johnson got $5 million to build an all-boys school, and there ain't a single shred of evidence to say he ever built it. But you niggas don't ask questions about that, now do you? I seem to recall a Hidden Colors series that doesn't answer the pertinent questions that every black man and woman should ask. But it panders to, not panders, but caters to making you feel good, even though it's just a compilation of historical fact and nothing new exegetically has been determined from that material. And I'm not putting down the film. I say all that to say this. You people astonish me every day with the depths to which you sink, to the things that you will do, all because you want to be something that you're not. Most of you don't even know what pro-black is. Most of you could not tell me what being pro-black is all about, but you can hand me something that somebody handed you, and you can give me promises that you know damn well you could never keep. In other words, most of you sons of bitches would make very good politicians, but most of you could never really get out in the trenches and get the work done. Most of you could sit there and talk shit about how I was in the white man's army fighting a white man's war, not realizing that those same people I was fighting were killing niggas too. Same people I was willing to go over there and, if necessary, put in a carton or a box were the same people that came over here in my city, took 3,000 my fellow New Yorkers. That if it had been a week later, I could have lost my sisters in that attack. I hear you Negroes will sit around and say, well, you disrespect black women and you call them down and you tear them down and you're not building them up. Let me tell you something. If you guys were so quote unquote pro-black, you would look at your sisters and you would want better for them. See, me, I'm jaded. I got my opinion set about black women the way I do, and I highly doubt I'll change it. And my wife knows this, my mother knows this, my mother-in-law knows this. But when I look at my 2 baby boys, I realize my sons might choose your daughters. So if I want better for my sons, then I should naturally want better for the people that he may choose to be mates. And if he happens to choose one of your daughters, well then I got a standard that they gotta meet. And if you don't meet the standard, you need to roll the fuck on. Now once again, I say all that to say this. If these pro-blacks so quote unquote care about black people, black issues, then they be honest. It's so far too easy how we can sit around and just say, well, look this shit up. Check this out. The system is racist. It's white supremacy. And that's another thing I gotta pick with some of you pro-blacks. Y'all niggas are the first ones to actually sit around and complain about how a system is stepping on your neck. But if we do some real analysis, if we stand back and really look at shit as it is, just for what it is, I'm being real with you, more of the onus falls on you. And I understand that most of you motherfuckers never had fathers to begin with. Oh yeah, you had a man help you get here, he fucked your mother and got her pregnant. But he didn't teach you anything, he wouldn't stick around long enough. You know, daddy was a rolling stone, wherever he laid his hat was home. I get that. And so it's a perpetual cycle. And when you look right now at this very moment in 2015, you have a group, a conglomerate of ain't shit motherfuckers sitting around all day, every day, claiming to be pro-black. But when it comes down to putting the rubber to the road, ain't shit happening. And it's not just in this generation, it's in the generation before and the generation before that even. You know, I used to sit down and listen to the days when my grandmother would talk about the civil rights struggle. And my grandmother was one of those women that went through it. She saw it all. She went through the Great Depression. She went through World War II. She went through Korea. She went through the Red Scare. She went through Vietnam. The marches, the hoses, the dogs, jailings, beatings, lynchings. Heard all about it, seen it all. And God rest her soul. And for her to sit down and look back with pride for everything that she came through and took her 3 sons through. For me to stand here today, I just find it perplexing how our ancestors, our forefathers, our grandparents, great-grandparents even, fought for this, bled for it, died for it. And here we are in 2015 squandering every single opportunity that they risked their lives for. And then in the essence to try to recapture that, we sit around tearing each other down because we don't like an opinion. We tear each other down because somebody wants to be more popular than the other one. I'm gonna keep this real with you. You pro-blacks make me sick because honestly, most of you are jealous-hearted individuals. It is what it is. I think if we could be honest about it, I think we could get a lot further than just trying to bullshit our way through the fucking system or bullshit our way through this thing called life. But what do I know? I'm just 27 years old, father of 2, a very idealistic young man with a hair trigger temper and a real penchant for bullshit. What do I know? I'm just saying. If you guys really want to make changes pro-blacks, you might want to understand first what being pro-black is. Remember I said at the beginning of this video that being pro-black ain't about necessarily agreeing with the Negro, but seeking the truth, even to the Negro's detriment, in order to advance the people. So my question is, What is it you're talking about? Does it advance the people? You tell me if we get rid of this white man's religion, we can do better, but you can't show me a concrete plan in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, how that's going to work. You complain to me about how come a white man has so much advantage from birth, but yet you can't tell me how you can give your sons and your daughters that advantage. You sit here and complain about systematic racism, and I admit there is some biases and prejudices that are available to be seen in any institution of government, any outlet of the media. But I also want to say this: how much of that shit did you cause yourself? And the reality is most of you don't want to answer that question. If we step back and we examine why we have so many kids being born to single parent families, how many of you are really going to put the blame equally on the man, or at least at the man and woman, or equally at least ask for accountability from both? Or in other words, and I'm stumbling over my words a little bit, so please forgive me, how many of you are going to ask that woman to be just as responsible as that man? I'll wait. While you're thinking about answering all these questions, I want you to understand that the reality of the situation is intrinsically clear. You pro-blacks like to shuck, jive, tap dance, shuckle buck, jive talk, slick talk, pit, parade, and display all types of bravado about the situation. But not near one of you Negroes is going to answer honestly. Not near one of you Negroes is going to tell it like it is. So let me just be real with you, and I'm going to be very curt, and I'm going to let y'all go. In 2015, I'm being real with you. I don't have time for you. I'm being honest. I think even though a black civil war is not something that we should look forward to, I understand why some people think it's a necessity. I understand that not everybody is going to make it through. And I'm hoping for effects of social Darwinism, because I'm tired of having to explain myself for people like you. I'm tired of having others look at me weird because I got a hat on and a hoodie. You know, I'm bopping to music while I'm walking in the street, enjoying my time, and people got to look at me sideways or clutch the purse a little bit or feel a little uneasy in my presence. I'm tired of dealing with broken people who got to project their pain and their misery onto me because somebody like you fucked their shit up. I'm tired of having to deal with people like you who make excuses for everything. But yet when the rubber meets the road and there's something to be done, and there's something that we can face within our control, it's just far too easy for you to blame somebody else and explain to me why it can't be done. In short and in closing, let this be a serve notice to you. I'm done playing games with y'all. It's time I honestly step my game up and let you guys know what the hell is really happening, what's really going on in the world, and challenge you, sink or swim.